This is what a happy song sounds like. Mood by 24K Golden featuring Iann Dior. It's really simple, and there's not that many sounds, only 5 distinct patterns in the song. But despite its simplicity, there's a lot of thought to how these pieces fit together to create the emotions that we hear. Today I want to go through this song from a production standpoint and explore why certain pop songs, like Mood, make you feel Every modern song is split into 2 sections, an A section that we just listened to, and a different sounding B section. These differences between these sections should be very clear, whether those differences are simply just adding or removing a couple sounds. In this case, Mood defines these 2 parts by simply adding the beat patterns and a bass sound. In other words, all the low frequencies. Now this might not seem like much on paper, but oftentimes the addition of low frequencies are what create that fulfilling satisfaction. Because without it, we'd only be listening to a third of the entire sonic spectrum.
Why you always in the mood? Fuck around like I'm brand new. I ain't trying to tell you what to do, but try to play it cool.
Which is like viewing the world without the colors red and orange, and then suddenly being introduced to them.
Why you always in the mood? Fuck around like I'm brand new.
Filling that emptiness the song purposely created in the beginning, making us feel that enjoyment of feeling complete. But these low-end sounds are just one part moving around a simple main melody. While simple in its nature, it's purposely written to do one thing.
That radio is what is those earworms gets in people. It's like not brainwashing, but it's what you hear all the time.
A study conducted at the Music Cognition Lab in the University of Arkansas had a group of participants listen to 2 songs, one where the song intentionally avoided repetition, and the other where the same song was altered to repeat and loop in specific places. The results? People who listened to the altered version found it to be more enjoyable and, quote, more likely to be composed by a human artist rather than randomly generated by a computer. Andrea Ordanini and Joseph Nunez analyzed more than 2,400 pop songs over 50 years at the University of Southern California and found that there was a strong correlation between the number of times a song repeated in its chorus and the popularity. Each repetition of the chorus increased the chance of making it to the top 40 by 17% and also increased the chance it was a #1 hit by 14.5%. And well, when it comes to the song Mood, the repetition and the results that it displays speak for itself. Why this happens might be explained with the mere exposure effect, a term psychologists use to describe the phenomenon when we tend to like things that we've encountered before, from food to people to the clothes we wear and to the music that we listen to, even if we don't like it.
You listen to it and listen to it and listen to it and go, oh, today I'll pay.
You've probably heard the term, it grows on you. A common term used to describe liking music as time goes by when you initially didn't, often because of repeated exposure to the song.
Listening to music repeatedly can draw us into a special relationship with the sound, such that we're constantly listening ahead to what comes next, making us feel like we're participating in the course of the music itself.
This repetition lets us listen differently, since our minds are no longer occupied with just trying to process the main melody, but rather other aspects of the song like the bass or the beat that we didn't listen to or hear at first. We take it all in, and that can make us appreciate the song much more than if you only heard it a few times. This doesn't mean that the main melodic components of Mood are not important. One thing that is often overlooked in my opinion is the fact that Mood's composition is written in the Lydian scale. one of the 7 modern scales in music that has been described to be a brighter, more uplifting version of its more commonly used brother, the Ionian scale, or as most people call it, the major scale, which is used in songs like And while you might have not heard the term Lydian scale, you've definitely heard it in music like Notice how all these songs sound light, heavenly, and sometimes heroic. This is all because they are written on a scale that naturally sounds exceedingly optimistic. The subtle shift in one note in the scale means a world of a difference in the emotions presented to the listener. I mean, just listen to what mood would sound like if it was written in the traditional major scale. It is still happy, don't get me wrong, but it has a different undertone of happiness, one that is less quirky and less energetic than the original Lydian composition, and this slight change in perspective can be the difference in making us feel extremely cheerful or just moderately content. But just listen to how this song changes when we change the scale to a darker Dorian mode. This is the interesting thing about music, how we can take simple pieces and craft them into unique feelings. There are 5 major sounds in this particular song, but how they're purposely constructed and moved around in the song can make us feel a certain type of happiness. So while music critics and music fans often label pop songs like Mood as cliched and often repetitive, you can never say that these songs seem to always make people feel happy.
Why you always in the mood? Fuck around like I'm brand new. I ain't tryna tell you what to do, but try to play cool. Baby, I ain't playing by your rules. Everything look better with a view. Why you always in the mood? Fuck around like I'm brand new. I ain't tryna tell you what to do, but try to play cool. Baby, I ain't playing by your rules.